everyone. I am Osima Biswal. Today I will discuss about prerequisites for economic development. If you like my video, please subscribe my channel Economic Tech. Underdeveloped countries are more anxious about the attainment of economic development. But it is not a miracle as we assume. The process of economic development requires suitable climate for its initiation, maintenance and acceleration. Okay, economic development is closely linked with human endowment, social attitude, political condition of the country and historical accidents, but at the same time political, psychological, social and cultural requirements are also imperative for economic development. Okay, here we must remember that underdeveloped countries are generally characterized by certain inhibiting forces of market imperfections and vicious circle of poverty. Mere removal of these impediments is not a sufficient condition for economic growth. Okay, it needs a special drive to identify a set of forces that are of great significance from the standpoint of economic development. Keeping this aspect in mind, let us detail about some of the basic requirements of economic development. These are the prerequisites for economic development. Okay, first I will discuss about the desire for economic development. The foremost requirement of economic progress is that people must desire for progress. It is commonly agreed that economic development is not possible unless there exists a strong willingness for economic progress among the people of that country. Okay. Second, removal of market imperfections. It is believed that market imperfections are largely responsible for underdevelopment and these market imperfections must be removed. These imperfections have the cause and effect to perpetuate conditions of poverty in these economies. Moreover, market imperfections allow partial utilization of resources, factor immobility and inhibit sectoral expansion and development process. Okay, these market imperfections also prevent the flow of resources from less productive to more productive forms of employment, handicap the expansion, limit the impact of one sector of expansion to another sector. Okay, thus leads to underutilization and misdirection of resources. If underdeveloped countries want to accelerate the rate of capital formation, these countries must free their market from these imperfections. Third, I will discuss about administrative efficiency. Okay, another important prerequisite for economic development is the existence of strong, competitive, efficient, honest and stable government. It is an essential political determinant of economic development. Okay, in its absence, it would be impossible to formulate, implement specific policies of economic growth. Okay, then I will discuss about 5 most important prerequisites of economic development, that is social cultural requirement. Social cultural requirement what? The social cultural attitudes of the people must be changed towards development. It means that social constraints which stand in the path of economic development would either be removed or cut. Okay, broadly, social organization like the joint family system, the caste system, the kinship, the religious dogmas and the rural life should be modified. As a matter of fact, this work seems to be easy but cannot be done by miracle because of social cultural change will bring discontentment and resistance to welfare is a part of general social welfare. Okay. Educational disparity between developed and underdeveloped countries is mainly responsible for the backwardness of low income countries. Okay. Then 5, an indigenous base. A major requirement of economic development is that its process must have a domestic base within the society of the underdeveloped economy. There must be the desire for economic progress, social betterment and initiative for implementing this process. It cannot be implemented from outside. The external forces can only stimulate and facilitate the indigenous forces. 6. Capital formation. Another strategic condition of economic development is the capital formation. The fact has been recognized that capital resources have played a pivotal role in raising labor productivity. Thus, capital includes all forms of reproducible wealth that is used directly in the production of large volume of output. The level of capital accumulation can be raised through 3 interdependent activities. First, an increase in the volume of real saving, which depends upon the will to save and the power to save. Okay. Second, the existence of credit and financial institution to mobilize and channelize the saving for converting them into investable funds. Third, the use of these savings for purpose of investment in capital goods. It also includes skill formation as it often develops as a result of the former. Okay. There is certain set of guidelines which seem to be fundamental elements for such practical policy. They are: first, careful assessment of capital requirement for developing countries should be made. Second, steps should be taken for affecting and mobilizing the savings to bridge the gap between the demand and supply of capital. Third, clear policy for allocating capital resources to different sectors should be laid down. The requirements of capital accumulation can be met simply by creating financial institutions and by expansion of monetary system. There are different methods to raise possibilities for the rate of saving. Popularly, there are taxation, deficit financing, borrowing, profits of public corporation, restricting luxury imports. Okay. 6. Suitable investment criterion. Another prerequisite for economic development in underdeveloped country is not only to determine the rate of investment but also the composition of investment. Okay. The optimum investment pattern depends mostly on the fruitful avenues of investment available in a country. Its social marginal productivity also differs. However, different investment criteria has been discussed. First, a social marginal productivity. Social marginal productivity investment should be made in a such direction where the social marginal productivity is the highest. The guiding principles for this purpose are: investment should be directed towards the most productive channels so that the ratio of current output to investment is maximized or capital output ratio is minimized. Second, the investment objects should be selected that produce goods meeting the basic needs of the people and promote greater external economies. Third, investment should be made only in those projects where there is maximum use of labor. Fourth, investment projects should make the use of domestic raw materials. Fifth, investment should be directed to those industries which may be useful to earn foreign exchange, reduce pressures on balance of payments and maximize the ratio of export goods. Sixth, those investment projects should be selected that go to improve the distribution of real income, thus bridging the gap between rich and poor. Okay. Then B, social and economic overheads. In order to achieve this, from supply side, investment should create external economies in the shape of development of sources of fuel and power, common source of raw materials, credit, research and transport facilities. Similarly, from the demand side, investment should create large social and economic overheads in the form of hospitals, schools, roads, railways, buildings, dams, etc. Then C, balanced growth. This implies an all-round and simultaneous development of different sectors of the economy. Different sectors of the economy should grow in a harmonious way so that no sector lags behind or goes far ahead of others. Then D, choice of techniques. Production techniques influence greatly the pattern of investment. It depends more on the merits of projects who have more reliance on capital intensive and labor intensive techniques. Then E, capital output ratio. Some economists feel that capital output ratio as an investment criterion while selecting investment projects, and in determining priorities. Capital output ratio various projects must be compared. Investment should be limited to those projects that lower the capital output ratio. The lower the capital output ratio, the higher is the growth rate of the economy. Then 7, capital absorption and stability. Generally, poor countries cannot absorb without limits and at any rate. The capital absorption capacity of an economy depends on the stability of other cooperant factors. Okay, on one side, and the requirement to maintain stability and avoiding inflation on the other side. Okay, these are the pre